Hello there, my very good friends, and a warm welcoming good afternoon to you all. On this video, another wrestler has left AEW.
A potential spoiler for the Elite's partner at Blood and Guts.
Got the latest on AEW's new TV deal.
And Dave Meltzer says wrestling is the hottest it's been since 2001. I'm Adam Wilborn.
My lifestyle determines my death style.
This is the After News.
We're going to kick things off by the latest departure from the AEW roster. It's another situation where a contract has expired and not been renewed rather than a release or anything like that. It's Brian Pillman Jr. He's gone from AEW. This was officially reported by Mike Johnson of PW Insider last night. It was noticed on Reddit and other platforms that Pillman had been removed from AEW's official roster on their weird website. He was no longer there, and Johnson has confirmed that he's gone. It's noted, however, in the report that the door remains open should the two parties want to work together again in the future. So yeah, there you go, Brian Pillman Jr. gone. He's been out of the spotlight for ages, it feels. He last wrestled for the company, I've got the date here, on a house show, The House Rules, on the 13th of May. He's not been on TV since Rampage in February, when he wrestled Swerve. And even before that, like the Varsity Blondes, which eventually just became the Blondes, they stopped being a thing late last year. That was him and Griff Garrison. So he's really been away from like the actual awareness of people who maybe only watch the big weekly shows like Dynamite. He's been in AEW for ages. I mean, his history with the company does go back actually to the original Double or Nothing, where he was in the Battle Royal, but it was during the difficult COVID era when he started appearing regularly in 2020. MLW, which is where he was based at the time, kind of shut down for a period, and he came over to AEW. He later found the tag team with Griff Garrison, the Varsity Blondes. Later they added Julia Hart to the roster, and if you remember, of course, Brian had the program with MJF that was very personal in kayfabe.
Sorry, I'm not smiling about that. I'm smiling about the time they almost got mistered by Malachi Black and then had to sell it.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for everyone involved. But they had him and MJF had that match, of course, in New York, and all of that stuff. Julia was in the group. They did the story with the House of Black where she was being pulled over to that side, and
it
eventually paid off. And I think she's really come into her own since moving groups, to be fair.
What, Collision, didn't she, last week?
She did. She's awesome. Like, the submission hold is really sick, and I like the vibe and the hat, obviously. But Pillman, his usage rate has definitely dropped off. He is, of course, the clue's in the name, but he's the son of the legendary pro wrestler Brian Pillman. Yeah, blows your mind away. So it's another situation like Trench was one we talked about recently. There was another one that's completely just...
Fuego?
Yes, it was Fuego, yes. So some people whose contracts have come up have not been renewed. Pillman's started in 2011, so I guess it was a 2-year deal.
2021.
Yeah, sorry, what did I say?
2011.
Eight years,
2 years.
8 years before Dynamite launched. Cool. Best of luck to him, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next.
Yeah, maybe this is one of those things that, it could be beneficial for him. He can go out and work. I mean, he could, but he's a lot freer to go and do a variety of different dates. Like, he clearly wasn't going to get pushed on AEW television anytime soon for all the reasons you laid out. And look at the talent that they've brought in at the end of the day. Yeah. I was a bit disappointed they didn't do more with him following on from the MJF feud, because it felt like he got a lot of exposure there. But hey, look, he's a young guy. He's clearly very talented. He's got a sensational mullet. And I would not be surprised if we see him back in AEW for a while. It could be a case of, go off, make a name for yourself elsewhere, and then come back, because you've kind of done all you can here. I'm sure he's learned a great deal from just being in and around AEW these past few years.
100%. There's so many experienced people on that roster and stuff. And it sucks to see anyone part ways, but who knows? Maybe he's cool with it. I don't know. Yeah. Who on earth knows? But best of luck to him.
To see what they do with him if they got him in WWE, for example.
Yeah, maybe he'll go back to MLW as well. He has history there. So there's opportunities for a guy like Brian Pillman Jr. to make plenty of money. So.
Absolutely. So Blood and Guts is next week. Lots of developments, no doubt.
Spoilers,
on tonight's Dynamite. Oh yes, spoilers.
Maybe.
If you don't want to know the potential spoilers, although anyway, the link, the timestamps are in the description for if you want to skip ahead to the next story. But it's probably what we all kind of assumed. PW Insider Elite.com reported last week that Kenny said on the mic, of course, that he'd called someone he respects to help the Elite in Blood and Guts. And yeah, he was teasing Kota Ibushi, guys. That's, of course, what's going to happen. Bet the house on Ibushi making his AEW debut for a wicked pizza in Boston. TD Garden next Wednesday, basically. Yeah. No one else really fits the description. And hopefully, well, it won't be Ibushi's only appearance for AEW.
I would be very surprised if it was, yeah. Although he's not going to sign there because he's just a freelance crazy guy. Yeah. I love him.
He did sign a lifelong contract at one point, didn't he? And then they went, we're not doing that, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea, to be perfectly honest.
Unless it was, I think, Pando time, so it could just be a weird fever dream.
Yeah. He's a free spirit, Kota Ibushi.
Hell of a character.
It makes the most sense, 100% for the Elite's partner in this match. Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega, Kojima, Lariat.
Punk! Is he in it?
Shouts to Chick Magnet Phil. And the
Jericho's
other
going to be in it because he's in every bloody
the other one's probably Chris Jericho. We'll see tonight on Dynamite, I guess. But yeah, I'd love to see Ibushi in AEW. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. Yeah. So throw him in there, baby.
Yeah, I think he's the perfect fit for this sort of thing as well. And, I think it's always been a long-term plan. Maybe less so not having Bryan Danielson in this match. But here we are. I love the setup that they've got now. And Takeshita is just a sensational heel.
Yeah.
But if it's not Kota Ibushi, let's hear your wild predictions for who else it could be. Who else is someone that Kenny Omega respects? Let us know in the comments.
Throw them to Cody Rhodes.
Oh my God, he's not doing much.
Yeah, well, he doesn't work Wednesdays, does he? Get him back in, brother. Similarly, let us know about the Blackpool Combat Club's partner. Info is probably Chris Jericho. Probably Chris Jericho. Let's talk about TV deals. TV eels.
Now, people on Twitter always talk about this, and I feel like they're probably really knowledgeable about it, so I don't know if I need to know about this, but tell me anyway.
Yeah, they know everything. Apparently AEW's failing and it's getting cancelled.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Been hearing that one for about 4 years now, haven't we?
It's a hell of a drawn-out cancellation, this.
And
they've given them more shows, it's weird.
Yeah, it's red tape, man. They specifically asked for another show as well. What the hell are they doing? But this is our update from Fightful Select. Negotiations between AEW and its media partner Warner Brothers Discovery are ongoing over a new TV deal and have been for several months, leading potentially to an announcement in the summer or autumn, the fall.
Yeah.
So an announcement is forthcoming. Warner is very happy with AEW, how its shows have performed, and in particular, they're very appreciative of how flexible AEW has been when it's come to producing new content, adding shows, taking shows away, and working around necessary preemptions, which we see quite often when it's like, hey, there's a basketball game on, you have to move an hour or whatever. Yeah. Fightful notes that Warner has plenty of say and influence over AEW programming, and that is evidenced by their role in prior crossovers. So I imagine things like House of the Dragon, and Winter is Coming, and Rick and Morty, remember that?
Oh yeah!
And talent that have or haven't been featured on AEW shows, obviously the Briscoe situation that we've spoken about. Now for their part, AEW, those are just my examples, by the way, they're not mentioned in the report, just to be clear. And now for their part, AEW has shown a lot of flexibility when it comes to overruns and things like Warner's requests. So it's a good relationship by the sounds of things. Now the deal, according to a source, is understood to be heading towards a huge money increase for AEW by the way things are looking. Obviously there was that $1 billion thing rumor that turned out to not be correct recently, but it does sound like they're leading towards a heavy increase, and they should be. $44 million a year, I think, is what they currently earn.
Chicken feed.
Yeah, which is and considering Dynamite is a top 10, top 5 show all the time, Collision was top 5 this week. Dropped off a bit last week, but it's been performing well so far, and that's what Warner want. They want top 5.
Yeah, exactly. No surprises here. Whatever you feel about the big number that you see every Thursday evening here in the UK or what time it is, wherever WrestleNomics drops it for you. Shout out to Brandon Thurston. Thank you for all the hard work that you do. It's the 18 to 49 and where that ranks them in the ratings, and like you say, they're consistently top 5. My sources, my birds that I've got out there, tell me that apparently the only stumbling block is AEW signing Warner Bros, the tag team. So they're going to come and get a big push.
Well, okay.
But of course, really excited to see what that cash injection does for AEW, because they more than merit a new TV deal. Of course, we're not on TV, we're here on YouTube, and how you keep up with us is you don't set a TV Plus recording thing on. Do people even do that on their videotapes anymore?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think people have probably got slightly newer technology than that, Adam. But to keep up with us, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.
Yeah, there you go. Segue.
Wrestling is the hottest it's been since 2001. You know who said that? Dave Meltzer.
There he is.
There he is. In
Big Dave.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm sure that the people who think that Dave is really biased against WWE are going to have a hard time digesting this one. This is interesting.
Because that's the reason why he said it. He was on Wrestling Observer Radio talking about that insane SmackDown rating, the show's best 18 to 49 rating since March of 2020. And as I mentioned in the earlier news video from today, which you can still go and check out on our channel, it's quite possibly the first time that in the 18 to 49 demo, a wrestling show has ranked number one for the week ever. That's a 75 years stretch.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Crazy.
Also, obviously, WWE huge numbers at the gate. MSG was a huge number for WWE, and not only that, it also merch is flying off the shelves, outdoing even the Attitude and Hulk Hogan eras. Same when it comes to television, as I mentioned earlier. And Dave Meltzer says Roman Reigns is the catalyst for all this. Also, Cody is obviously doing great on Raw. We are nowhere near close to an end point. It's just on the up and up. And I can't disagree with this. It is great to see it though, because we sort of discussed this again on the news video earlier on today. There were some dark times a few years back being a wrestling fan where people would be like, "You still watch that wrestling? Yeah. Is Stone Cold Steve Austin there? What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, if you're from the UK, it's all Big Daddy and giant haystacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's just kind of compiled a bunch of positive metrics together to get to this conclusion, and these are seriously impressive things. Like the merch numbers in particular. Merch is it's definitely more of a personal thing these days, right?
Yeah.
And it goes beyond wrestling, like in music culture and stuff, like tour merch or limited runs or DIY aesthetics on smaller scenes, on the scenes I gravitate towards. Like merch is a huge thing these days, and the independent wrestling hustle is very similar to the music hustle and stuff. So it's great. It's really great to hear. You think about the Attitude Era as this untoppable pillar, and the Hulk Hogan period and stuff. I think he mentions gorgeous Bloody George in this.
Of course he does.
So you can go
change Dave.
You can go all the way back. One of the biggest wrestling stars of all time, Gorgeous George. Wrestling is really hot right now, and specifically WWE is extremely hot right now. The TV ratings are on the up, attendances are good. You always get the odd dissenting voice going, "Oh well, they were getting 5.5 million viewers 20 years ago or whatever," but it's a completely different landscape. The ratings analysis.
How many views were they getting on YouTube back then?
There you go. What were those HBO Max numbers like, brother? These conversations often lack context. People look at the raw numbers and go, "Oh, only 2 million? That's rubbish." But then it finishes top on the night.
Yep.
And it's like, well, they weren't doing that 20 years ago. So it's great. It's fantastic, I think, for all involved.
Yeah.
I like it when the thing I cover for a living is doing really well. And I like it as a fan as well.
Yeah, whether you're WWE, AEW, Impact, New Japan, MLW, indie wrestling, other big promotions, it's genuinely a great time to be a wrestling fan. So instead of going on and having that argument on Twitter, why don't you just enjoy it? Just a thought.
Just find something you like.
We have to. By the way, when we do these videos, right? Then people are like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." It's because we're on YouTube and we have to. You know how this game works, don't you?
We need the clicks, baby. That's how it works. There's so many different flavors of wrestling these days. If you don't like WWE, go and watch AEW. You don't like AEW, go watch New Japan. You don't like New Japan? Oh, Stardom's over here. Okay, this isn't quite to my taste. I'm going to try this Impact thing. Oh, MLW kicking about.
DDT, hello.
DDT, the best promotion of all time. Yeah, we got the Japanese indies over here. We got Dragon Gate over here. Why don't I take a little trip down to Mexico and check out this CMLL thing? Which, by the way, all their shows are free on YouTube, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
The US indies, they're all really accessible. because they're all on Fight TV or IWTV. Oh, what's the British indie scene doing in the wake of like the rebuild job that scene's had to do? Like, there's literally something for everyone. Do soda fans get on Twitter and go, I'm a Pepsi Max guy, Coke should go out of business?
You say that, but I did see Anne-Louise heard an advert that said 70% of people prefer Pepsi to Coke, and she went, well, that's bollocks. So apparently there is an area.
What's the 18 to 49 demographic like in Pepsi?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, we have so many pointless conversations about wrestling. So much, like, people hyper focus on the most minor nitpicks, and then their personality becomes bitter, annoyed person who moans about it. It's like, you can just not watch the stuff you don't like. Like, I choose not to listen to pop music because I like music that sounds like a toaster being thrown in a bath.
Yeah.
Like, it's
like what you
all
like
out there. I never in a million years wanted to become a just enjoy things kind of person. Like, I didn't want to ever make that argument. But seriously, let some joy into your life. There's loads of great stuff going on there. And I think that WWE is producing some of the best content it has in decades.
I agree.
And that helps a lot.
Absolutely. And if you like wrestling, check out more videos on this channel. Check out our news from earlier on today. Or check out this video right here. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you soon.